New developments are taking place in the Kherson region. The operations carried out by the Ukrainian army in and around Kherson continue to wear down the Russian army. In our previous reports, we stated that the Ukrainian army has established a foothold in and around Krynky and established control in the forested areas in the region. Along with the pressure created by the Ukrainian army in the region, the pressure on Crimea is also increasing. The Ukrainian army is putting pressure on the Russian army with drones and long-range missiles in the Crimea region, as well as operations in the Kherson region. The Ukrainian army is making the Kremlin nervous with its strong defense in the Donetsk region and the attack blocks formed in the Kherson region. The most intense clashes in the Kherson region are taking place in and around Krynky. The pressure exerted by the Ukrainian army in the region is forcing the Russians to defend. While the intensity of the clashes in the forested area increased, the Ukrainian army made new gains in the south of the Greenhouse region. The Russians confirmed that Ukraine has achieved new successes, but stated that these are not very serious gains. Ukraine is making reinforcements towards the region where the Ukrainian army is advancing, taking advantage of the weather conditions in the region. It continues to apply this strategy, especially in the Kherson region, and this situation provides a great advantage for the Ukrainian army. The Ukrainian army, which constantly directs reinforcements to the region, strengthens the attack and defense blocks in a short time in the regions where it has gained a foothold. Russian forces have been carrying out airstrikes in the region for a long time. The Russian army, which has doubled these airstrikes, wants to hit Ukrainian ammunition and equipment supply routes in the region and weaken Ukraine's power in the region. The biggest power of the Russian army in the Kherson region is airstrikes. However, recent bad weather conditions have made it difficult to conduct reconnaissance operations. For this reason, the attacks are not always successful as blind shots are fired. However, the Ukrainian air defense intensity also makes its power felt in the region. The pressure created by the Ukrainian air defense in the region continues to cause losses to the Russians. The Ukrainian defense forces destroyed a Russian Kh-59 missile over the Dnipro River, according to the Air Command East. The guided aviation missile has been destroyed, the statement says. Military officials clarified that this incident occurred over the city of Dnipro, and accordingly, the missile was shot down over the regional center. In the command, they also reminded Ukrainians not to forget about safety measures during air alerts. Russian occupiers almost daily carry out strikes on peaceful cities in Ukraine, using kamikaze drones and various types of missiles. Such an aerial attack occurred earlier in the night. It was previously reported that a series of explosions occurred in Dnipro during the day on December 6. Prior to this, an air alert had been declared in the Dnipropetrovsk region due to missile danger. During the air alert on the night of December 6, explosions were heard in the Khmelnytsky region. The regional military administration reported the activities of air defense forces in the region. Due to the intensity of Ukrainian air defenses, Russian forces have stopped relying on attack helicopters such as the Ka-52 and Mi-24. Alexander Shtupun, spokesman for the Ukrainian Tarisk Forces Group, stated that Ukrainian forces shot down these helicopters as soon as they entered the range. Shtupun also stated that, due to Ukraine's air defense capability, the Russians found it risky even to enter a range of 40 kilometers to launch FAB gliding bombs, prompting the Russians to use KAB gliding bombs, which can be launched from a safer distance. This is actually a very strategic advantage for the Ukrainian army because KAB bombs have a problem. The hit rate of KAB bombs is much less. This creates a good advantage for Ukraine in the region. The Ukrainian army carried out an important offensive operation in the region. The operation was carried out by the famous Magyar's Birds detachment. Magyar said that the electronic warfare group successfully intercepted a Russian drone and immediately analyzed the images to determine the location, and after determining it, sent it to reconnaissance aircraft operators for verification. The Ukrainian army launched a powerful counterattack on the detected house together with HIMARS missile systems. A few minutes after the Ukrainian army launched the attack, the detected house was completely destroyed together with all Russian drone operators. The Ukrainian army wants to make further gains by increasing its area of action in the region. It carries out operations to increase its area of action in the region by reducing the effectiveness of Russian air defense and Russian drones. The operations allow the Ukrainian army more freedom of movement in the region. While the Ukrainian army continues to destroy Russian targets with HIMARS missile systems. HIMARS missile systems continue to be an increasingly important equipment for the Ukrainian army. Since the beginning of the war, the Ukrainian army has inflicted significant losses on the Russians with many important operations. Operations carried out with HIMARS missile systems continue rapidly. The offensive and defense equipment provided by the USA for the Ukrainian army is very important. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced that the Ukrainian army needs much more help with the arrival of the winter months and the difficult conditions. The US knows that Ukraine needs more ammunition to completely stop the Russian army. According to a statement by Secretary of State Antony Blinken and the Pentagon Press Service, the United States announced today, 6th of December, a $175 million military aid package for Ukraine. According to Blinken, the package includes AIM-9M and AIM-7 missiles for air defense, additional ammunition for high-mobility artillery rocket systems, 155mm and 105mm artillery rounds, high-speed anti-radiation missiles, tube-launched optically tracked wire-guided missiles, Javelin and AT-4 anti-armor systems, more than 4 million rounds of small arms ammunition, vehicles to tow and haul equipment, demolitions munitions for obstacle clearing, equipment to protect critical national infrastructure, spare parts, maintenance and other auxiliary equipment, helping Ukraine defend itself against Russian aggression and secure its future advances our national security interests and contributes to global stability around the world. And we need Congress to act now, Blinken said. In October, US President Joe Biden called on Congress to allocate over $100 billion for national security needs, of which more than $60 billion was earmarked for assistance to Ukraine. However, Madhyar released a video today announcing that they have crowdfunded 180 new boots for the Marines. He said that the Marines had already received 56 boats and showed the arrival of the new batch of 30 new boats, which were immediately transferred to the respective detachments. With the arrival of the winter months, the Ukrainian army needs further strengthening. Therefore, the important and effective strategies implemented by the Ukrainian forces on the front line, as well as the new equipment received, give Ukraine an advantage on the battlefield. What do you think about the developments? Do you think the operations carried out by the Ukrainian army in the Kherson region will open the doors of Crimea to the Ukrainians? We are also curious about your comments on the aid package and new equipment announced by the USA.